Moloto is also on the ground for us, reporting on this big story for us. Not good news at all, of course, but we're bringing you the very latest as we try and make sense of what has happened here. Good afternoon again, Moloko.
Good afternoon, Braden. Well, as the day goes by, the officials, the senior officials, particularly the political office bearers, have now left the scene. Possibly they are going to be attending to those who do not have accommodation, those who stayed in this building that was gutted by fire. And we continue to hear that over 70 people have died and over 50 others have sustained injuries. Behind these numbers, behind the statistics, Braden, there are human beings, people who died. And let's try and see if we can be able to put the face, to put the names behind these numbers. I'm joined now by the young man, Ayabonga Herman, who is the chairperson of the African National Congress Youth League at this particular branch called Bethatloa branch. He is a resident of this very particular building that burned down. Ayabonga, thank you so much for your time. Maybe let's start there. Where were you last night when the fire started gutting down this building? What was your experience?
Thank you very much. I was inside the flat by the time that the fire started. Immediately I hear some sound and noise outside and then the glass noise. So I went out immediately. When I went out, I found out the flat is on fire. Yes, that's it on my side.
Have you lost any of your belongings?
Yes, I have lost my furniture, but I managed to take some few clothes, my laptop.
I understand that members of your league, the ANC Youth League, particularly of your branch, there were about 30 of them. They stayed in this very particular building. And I'm also told, even if you don't tell us the name of the one who apparently died, let's rather wait for the authorities to confirm that, even with the family. But take us through the number of the people that belong to your party and how you guys, what made you to come and live here as well?
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, we have 30 members who are affected. Only one member who died is Amanda Mjatani. Yeah, it's one of our ANC League member in my branch. Yeah, we came to stay here because of it was the flat that some other people were staying. So we came and stay. There was nothing wrong that we see that we have no right to come and stay. So we came and stay here.
Yeah. Do you know how many of your members sustained injuries and the items that they have lost?
Yeah, the only what I know is the one that died, but everyone else is fine, but only they lost some of their belongings.
As I conclude with you, how was life inside? I've never been inside because they don't allow us in, but we understand that the conditions are not really habitable. We are told that you guys built sheds in there and the building was illegally occupied and hijacked. Who do you pay rent to as well?
The flat, it was not hijacked really, because if we came and stayed, we were not paying rent to anyone. Yes, indeed, there were shacks inside. You know, people, they came and do as they like. You can't stop them because of the government building. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Ayabonga Herman. But then let me bring in the chairperson of the ANC Youth League in the city or in the Joburg region. His name is Nkhobo Khomungwe. Nkhobo, young people, we are told that you are the young lions. You are fearless. You confront issues, especially where there is injustice. The conditions under which these people were staying are not pleasing. Your members were staying in there. Were you aware? Have you raised these issues within your structure to raise them at the city of Johannesburg, where the ANC is represented?
Well, we continue to raise the issue of buildings that are dilapidated and hijacked in Johannesburg as an issue that is a concerning in Johannesburg. It happens all over in Gauteng. As to our members that are residing there and the environment that have been residing on, we have not yet went, or we didn't do any research on going to research how are the living conditions on all our members that reside or who are residing in the CBD. I will be lying to everybody if I would say we have visited them to check on the environment they reside in. But we know that buildings in Johannesburg are hijacked, buildings in Johannesburg are being occupied by people with no documentation to be even residing in our country entirely.
You have a constituency of young people that you represent. How do you therefore suggest we move forward from this tragedy to prevent another tragedy that may befall us? What specifically, in your view, ought to happen?
We're calling on the municipality to start to do a database of all these buildings that are hijacked and start to begin to take action on that. One, we're also calling on the Human Rights Commission to stop defending things that are wrong, because these buildings and the owners of the buildings somehow they are connected with the people that sit in the Human Rights Commission, because Human Rights Commission, they are only big in English and in sitting in courtrooms, but they are not on the ground to see the things that we see on the ground. We have lost people's life have been lost. There must be something that is done. Human Rights Commission needs to also be took to task around this issue, because they are the defendants of this. If tomorrow were to say, as the youth league in Johannesburg, we're going to remove every illegal occupant of any building in Johannesburg, human rights will be the first to be in defense of those people who owns the building and residents of those buildings. So we're calling on the human rights also to take action or to bring solutions to our communities around this issue.
What should be the role of the ANC-led government in Gauteng, the ANC-led government nationally, which you have the opportunity of interacting with, the leaders, you have access to them? As much as you are blaming the Human Rights Commission, what should they do and where did they drop the ball?
To the MEC of Human Settlement and Environment, he must come and take responsibility and assist us to make sure that people who reside in buildings that are dilapidated, buildings that do not comply, those people need to be removed to a temporary shelter while there is a solution that is being created and crafted for them to reside in a conducive environment.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate young people of the ANC Youth League. I'm just going to ask my colleague Shahid to move, because there's a bus of the Joburg Metro Police that really needs to pass here. Not much really that is happening here, Braden. It would seem all what is happening here is just a few number of officials who are still here, but also the onlookers. Some of those who perhaps are aware of what has happened, but they are being kept further away from the actual building. Only journalists and the officials and a select few of people are allowed to come a little bit closer here. I'm not too sure at this point in time, Praden, as to whether inside the building itself there's still any activity. I see there are people who seem to be guarding the entrance there. Because there's no senior official here to confirm for us as to whether the search and rescue process has been concluded or not, and whether they have decided that they are happy with the work that they would have done. But I think importantly, Braden, going forward, it is going to be important to see the conditions under which those who survived this inferno would be living under, the form of assistance, those who might have lost their documents. The government obviously will have to be taking the lead in that particular regard. Another difficulty here is going to be the identification of the deceased, given the fact that some of them, we are told, bent beyond recognition. It's just going to be another conundrum that those who are dealing with DNA tests are going to be confronted with. Braden?
Moloko Moloto on the ground there. We will continue here on today on eNCA, Channel 403, bringing you updates and the very latest developments. And as we sit here this afternoon, there are fears that the death toll in this morning's fire in the building, there could rise, but we really are hoping not. So far, 73 people, including 12 children, have died in this fire. Some 50 people were injured. Many of them ended up in hospital. At the Helen Joseph Hospital, only 6 seriously injured ones remain hospitalized. We'll bring you more updates as the afternoon continues.